Hi there, I'm just waiting for the camera to stop wobbling. How are you today? So, we are continuing on with the topic of words and how so many people have made such a big fuss over affirmations, and the affirmations can change your life. Now, moving on to this beautiful topic of affirmations that I wanted to talk about. And words, do words matter? Now, what I've come to understand through the beautiful chapter that I've just finished the last couple of days is that, you can say all day, I am loved, I am loved, I am loved. The universe loves me. And say it to yourself now in this moment, I am loved. I am loved. How does that make you feel? How do you feel when you say those words? Do they resonate with you? Do they feel true in your heart? Words only have power when our energy matches those words. When you say, I am abundant, if your energy is lack and scarcity, you can say, I am abundant all day long. But your energy doesn't match. You're not in the frequency of abundance. So the two are not in alignment. So one way to look at it, as we said in a previous video, is to feel into what your energy is. If your energy is in lack and scarcity, then know within your heart that this is the experience you came to have. Now, having said that, I have noticed within myself that when I am done with an experience, I am done, is that the energy shifts and can open up to a different experience. But it only happens when you are done. This happens with so many things. You could probably relate to this. When you've been a smoker for so many years, my husband was a smoker for, I'm trying to think, at least 30 years now. I smoked for about 4 in my younger years. I was in my early 20s, but I always had bronchitis. I was always at the doctor's sick. So for me, it wasn't an enjoyable experience. For me, it was quite easy to stop smoking. My husband enjoyed it, for the whole 30 years that he was doing it. He loved smoking. He was never sick. It didn't have an effect on his body. He was fine. But eventually he quit just before my daughter was born. Why do you quit? If you're an alcoholic, if you were an alcoholic for a long time, say 30, 40, 50 years, whatever it is that you've been drinking alcohol, and then one day you decide, that's it, I've had enough. You quit. You're done with that experience. You know that if you keep doing what you're doing, you know exactly the experience you're having. Your experience cannot change while you are doing that. You're just going to get more of the same. And so one day you wake up as an alcoholic and things have happened during your drinking years. And you decide, you know what? I am done. I've had enough of that experience. And from this moment on, I don't need to drink anymore. As with smoking, as with drinking, as with weight gain. So many of us for so long just put on weight. We don't do the things we need to do. We don't exercise. We don't eat foods that agree with our body, that our body can digest easily. We just keep stuffing food in there, regardless of how our body feels. And so you go through life with that experience of how it feels to be overweight. And you may go your whole life overweight until the end, but many people decide somewhere along the line, you know what? I am done with this experience. I'm done with not having energy. I am done with being tired. I am done with looking the way I look, with how I feel every time I look at myself. I am done with this experience. And in that moment, they start to exercise. They start to eat differently. They move out of that experience. Why? Because they are done. And just like those experiences is everything else in your life. It is no different. When you are done with lack and scarcity, when you are done living in that mindset, you are done, you've had enough. You can feel it in yourself. You know what? I've had enough. That is the moment that you shift. My first awakening, I honestly believed that my life would change forever the moment my daughter was born. I thought she was going to be the reason that I would feel loved, be able to give my love, and she would receive it, accept it. I thought I would be whole and complete the moment she was born. But a year into her existence, she was a year old, and I was still angry inside. All the things that I was feeling before she was born were still there. I still had resentment. None of that had changed just because she was here. And my first awakening came when I realized that it's not something outside of me that I'm looking for. No matter how much you love your children, no matter how much you love your partner, no matter how much you love your parents, your friends, what you are looking for is not in any of them. And my life shifted the moment I was done with my anger. Done. I was done feeling angry. It was finished. I understood why the anger was there. I understood that it was serving me for my experience at that time. So today, what it comes down to is that you no longer wish to feel that way. Everything we do makes us feel a certain way. Everything. Think about it. What you eat, how you eat, all of it. If you drink alcohol, if you smoke, if you are overweight, if you are anxious and stressed all the time, if you drink 10 cups of coffee every day and you're super wired, all of it makes you feel a certain way. It's serving an experience. You are here to have that experience. And you can choose at any time. You can choose at any time to be done with it. Not from a place of, now this is what you need to understand, not from a place of, oh, this experience is wrong, or this experience is bad, or not from a place of judgment, but from a place of, I am done feeling that way. I am done. I wish to experience something else. Not something better, something different, something else. I know what that feels like. I've been doing that forever. You know, I thought I was going to share this in the next video, but it's coming up now. When I came back from this last holiday we went away on, I was feeling really saturated with the takeaway foods that we were getting throughout that week. And I got back home. We got back home on the Thursday. We came back a day early. On the Friday, I woke up and I had my cup of coffee that I usually have. And there was a voice inside of me that was saying, I don't want anything to eat today. It was my body screaming, give me a break. Let me rest. That Friday, I spent the whole day just drinking water. It was the first night of my headaches. I had about 4 nights of headaches when I got back from the holidays. I had spent that whole week on instant coffee, and I haven't had instant coffee in years. I had stopped drinking it a long time ago because I had started to get headaches from it. There was something in it that wasn't agreeing with me anymore. And I had started to drink, you know, the other coffee, like the brewed coffee that you get from the shops. And I learned how to make it myself at home. But I couldn't take the whole coffee machine with me. So I thought for that week, I'll manage with the instant coffees. But as soon as I got back, it was headaches. And I think there was a withdrawal. There's something in the instant that's different to the brewed, you know, the one that you get from the beans that you roast naturally, like that you grind, you know, the ground beans. So that Friday, I could feel my body screaming at me, just give me a break. That was the first time that I'd heard it so loudly, you know, like, please, just don't eat anything today. And I thought, okay, I'll give my body a rest. So I did. And then the next day when I went to eat, there was just something in me that was, I don't want to eat this and I don't want to eat that. And there was so many foods I had a rejection for, even just thinking about them, you know. So I had my cup of coffee like I always do. And I love my cup of coffee. I love how it tastes first thing in the morning. I have my lemon water first. I let that sit for a bit and then I have that beautiful cup of coffee. I love it. And so since I've been back, I just can't eat the same foods that I was eating before. I can't, there's something that's changed. I think energetically, I have a stronger connection to my body because I spent a week in the water, in the ocean. And I've been speaking to my body so much within that week. I've been really connecting to it, you know, and honoring it, you know, and giving thanks for it and all the things that I was feeling for this beautiful vessel that I have. Even though there's parts of it that are in pain or in discomfort, I was giving thanks for all of it, you know. And I know that whatever's there, I've placed it there, you know, with my abuse, with my neglect, with that me not taking care of it. Now, our thoughts create our reality. So what came up for me as I did the fast, and it's my first time in all my years that I've fasted, that I've spent a whole day without eating anything, just drinking water. the first thing that was coming up for me that day was that these patterns, how I eat, how I look at my body, the relationship I have with my body and with food are not mine. They are learnt behaviors. I learnt my relationship with food from my mum. I learnt the relationship with my body from my mum. You know what I found just astonishing was that at the age of 38, I became a gym instructor. I was working at the gym, and I was, as you're teaching others how to do things, you're working out constantly, you know, on the gym floor. And I would say at 38, I was probably physically at the best I've ever been. And I remember at the time I would look in the mirror, and I'd be in my beautiful gym outfit, and I would look in the mirror and I would still think that I looked fat. Still. I mean, I look back at the photos of when I was that, you know, at that age, at 38, and I think, what was I thinking? Even at 15, I was a twig, and I still looked in the mirror and I would see and think that I was fat. All I could see was my stomach, because my mum was a size 24. She was huge, and she had been that size most of my childhood. And so all these thoughts, all these patterns that I had with food and with my body were not mine. I had learned them. I had never learnt to love my body. I had never learnt to listen to my body. And in that moment that I was fasting, I could hear that it's time to let these patterns go. They no longer serve you. You no longer need them. All right, my beautiful beings. I'm going to do another video. The next video will be about food, because there is something else that came up for me a while back. So yes, a while back, I remember this experience I had around food. So we're going to talk about that in the next video. But for this one, I'd like you to sit with that, the patterns that you have in your life, the habits that you have, are learned behaviors. Do they serve your experience? Is this the experience you wish to have? Have a think about that today. What's your experience? What's your relationship with your body? How do you feel towards your body? Is there a love for this beautiful vessel that you get to move around in while you are here? Is there a gratitude for this vessel? Where are you at? All right, my beautiful beings, we'll talk more about the body and food in the next video, because this one's already gone quite long. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And remember to share them. This may be exactly what somebody needs to hear today. I love you guys. Bye for now.